Hello everyone, it's Sleepy Reader, here with a quick look at the comic books I read this past week. As is seemingly often the case now, I don't do this till late Tuesday night. You probably will already be getting your new comic books for the week. But anyway, here's what I thought of stuff I read from this past Wednesday. I actually haven't read Dark Horse Presents yet. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm way behind on the Dark Horse Presents. So yeah. Gru, Friends and Foes. This time, Gru gets together with the Sage, and a big conflict ensues over a bridge across a river. And they manage to get a whole issue's worth of fun out of this bridge. There's a great double-page spread. Having Gru come out monthly is making me love it more than ever. You sort of get into the Gru groove, both in the way he does his art and the way his humor works, and it just keeps getting better. I just keep clicking with it more, even though this might not have been the very best issue of the series so far. It's definitely one of the good issues of this Friends and Foes series. I'll be sad. This is issue 6, so we got 6 more to go. Shouldn't anticipate the end yet, should I? A very good issue of Lumberjanes, continuing I think you might call it the Abigail plot. A new character who's been added in, who's kind of a big game hunter of the mythological beings that hang out in the forest near the Lumberjanes camp. And she has a history with the Lumberjanes camp that we are slowly unfolding. And it's been very pleasurable. It never gets too serious, but it's never too light. I mean, it's definitely got some meat on its bones while being fun and funny. And so yeah, Lumberjanes does this kind of fancy dance between the light and the more meaningful. It's always about friendship, so that's very meaningful. But it's also, I think, about our pasts and choices we make at one point in our life that may lead to unexpected places much later. At least I feel that's where it's headed right now. As always, they show us the badges on the back. I can't tell you how much this enhances my daughter's enjoyment of this. I was looking at the trade, and it doesn't have these, unfortunately. I still may buy the trade. On the inside, they tell you the names of the badges. So the badge for this issue was Snow Globe Trotter. I'm actually kind of far away from the thing. Anyway, next month is the Mystery of History. Or no, this month was actually the Mystery of History, and last issue was Snow Globe Trotter. And next month will be Out of Time. Anyway, very cool. I hear that Noelle Stevenson is leaving this book. I hope she doesn't turn out to be the key ingredient, because I want Lumberjanes to continue to be as delightful and fun and rich as it has been for as long as possible. And I hope Noelle Stevenson isn't just going over to Marvel and not going to do independent work, because that would be pretty sad. She has a pretty big deal with one of her webcomics that was turned into a book, so maybe she's working on more graphic novels. Let's hope. I know she's also doing a comic over Runaways over at Marvel. I might look into that eventually. Silver Surfer, this was a good issue, and it brings the romance to its full fruit, with some ending up with some big kissing scenes and the like. A clever premise about this planet that tries to sort of cure everything, too much so for some characters. It feels a bit rushed. I feel like if there hadn't been the event of Secret Wars or some other event interrupting this, that I'm imagining that Dan Slott, because he has in other issues worked out things to my greater satisfaction than this issue. It wasn't a bad issue at all, and it was good enough. But I felt like if it had been spread out to 2 issues or something, it might have been a bit better. And I guess the next issue will be some kind of Secret Wars tie-in. I'm not following Secret Wars, but I'm intrigued by seeing Doctor Doom as Eternity here. And it says Last Days of Silver Surfer. There's only Secret Wars. Boo. I guess I assume I'll be getting that issue because I get this through a subscription. I get Thor through a subscription, but they don't send me Thors. So we'll see on all of that. These are in no particular order. I just had this stack, and now I'm unstacking it. So Trees was another excellent snippet of this larger novel. There's no other way to call it. There aren't short beats to this. If there are chapters, the chapters are many issues long. So each individual issue feels not particularly balanced as an issue, but continues with all the strengths of Trees, which is all the interesting pieces of the bigger picture, great art and coloring, really great art and coloring. I think that Jason Howard is still doing his own coloring, yes. There's no one else is credited with it. Yeah, so happy to keep reading Trees. We'll definitely, at some point, I can see rereading the whole thing. I kind of want. I don't want to trade weight on this because I just want to keep getting the story. However, I can imagine myself someday buying the deluxe hardcover and selling all my singles because it just seems like that's the way it should be read. Hell on Earth, BPRD continues this focus on Johann. Not quite as kick-ass an issue as last issue, but very good, very satisfying. Lots of clever little turns and character moments for Johann and for other people. There's the appearance of the ghost of, I forget the name of the guy who died in the mission that led up to all of this self-doubt. His ghost kind of appears coming out of Johann, and I'm not sure how to take that. It seemed like more like psychological symbolism, but this is a comic book of real, in the world of this comic book, magic and mysticism and heaven and hell and all of that exist. So, anyway, really enjoyed it. I think it's kind of, is it kind of the end of a mini arc? No, something happens at the end, and so, spoiler, I don't know what this is. We end with Johann looking at this giant robot, or is it the body of someone? Me having only read 10 or 12 issues of BPRD, I don't know what the story behind this robot is. They play such the long game. Anyway, good issue of BPRD. I feel like I've been in these last 3 issues much more connected to BPRD, Hell on Earth, than I had been previously. I'd been enjoying it all along, of course, or I would have dropped it, but I felt a little out of touch with it, and now I feel more connected. Joe Frankenstein, I believe I've praised this before in terms of being like a really nice throwback to kind of an 80s horror adventure style comic. You could imagine Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan doing it, for instance, or someone along those lines, although the art is not so much Gene Colan as other, I don't know, more in the John Buscema kind of range, I guess, by Graham Nolan. Very nicely done, very nicely written, co-written by Nolan and Chuck Dixon. This comes to a nice ending of the 4-issue arc. This has been a really good book. I'm guessing you could jump on with issue 5. I'm assuming issues 1 through 4 will be available in a trade very soon. They're hefty issues, I think about 27 pages or 28 pages of story each issue. So this has been one of my $3.99 purchases that I've been really happy with, and look forward to further arcs. I hope they can keep it up at this pace. Maybe they'll take a little break and then do another 4 issues. I hope they do that, because I've really been enjoying it. I hate to see it just fade away, as I've seen a few IDW books do in the past. Speaking of not fading away, 8 ended quite satisfactorily. Maybe it would have been nice to have a little bigger end to our main villain, the spear here, although it all made sense. It was all natural. The art continues, to be awesome. And so I was very happy with it. It had a little ending, a little coda. I guess I shouldn't really show it. I just am now reminding myself of what it was, which I didn't really connect to.